Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking into the future of marketing with Neil Patel's latest YouTube video. And let me tell you, he did not hold back on the changes he thinks are coming.
No, he did not. We're talking like some serious shifts, like RIP single platform marketing.
He basically said relying only on Facebook ads or Instagram influencers is a death sentence in 2025.
It's all about what he calls Omni-Channel marketing.
Okay, so Omni-Channel. So like being everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. Like think about it, you're not on just one platform, right?
Definitely not.
Exactly. We're all over the place, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, even checking out what's happening on X, the one that used to be Twitter.
Right.
So why would businesses think their customers are any different?
That's true. I guess it makes sense when you put it like that.
And get this, companies that use 6 or more marketing channels, they see a way higher return on their investment. And not just overall, but for each platform they're on. There's actual data to back this up too. It's not just, a Neil Patel theory.
So it's about being on more platforms and getting more out of each one.
Exactly. You're maximizing your reach, making sure your message hits the right people no matter where they're hanging out online.
It's like, casting a wider net, but making sure you're only catching the fish you want.
You got it.
Okay, I'm with you. But speaking of finding the right people, what about search engines? I always just assumed Google was the be-all and end-all, but Neil actually said it only makes up something like 18% of daily searches now.
Yeah, that one kind of blew my mind too.
Seriously, 18%. So where are all the other searches happening?
Well, think about it. How often do you go straight to Amazon to search for something? Or just type your question into YouTube instead of Google?
Oh yeah, all the time, especially YouTube.
Right. And it's not just them. Instagram, Pinterest, even ChatGPT, people are searching everywhere.
Wow. Okay, so what does that mean for businesses trying to get found online?
It means Google is still important, don't get me wrong. Optimizing your website for Google search matters. But you also need to think about how people are searching on each different platform and be strategic.
Give me an example.
Sure. On Instagram, it's visual, right? You got to have that eye-catching content and all the right hashtags. But on Pinterest, it's about those really well-designed pins that link back to your website.
So basically, understand each platform's search game and play it right.
You got it. And that actually leads perfectly into Neil's next big point, the power of brand recognition.
Which is huge. He shared this crazy stat. 7 out of the top 10 Google searches are actually brand names.
It's wild.
Yeah. Like people searching Nike instead of running shoes, or Apple instead of smartphone.
Exactly. It's because when you need something, the first thing you think of is usually a brand you already know and like.
Makes sense. There's that quote Neil used, "A logo is not a brand is a promise."
Yeah, that was from Seth Godin. It's so true. You're trying to create an experience, a feeling, a promise that people connect with.
And to build that takes time. Godin even said it takes 3 years to establish a brand and 10 years to solidify it.
That's a long game.
It is. Okay, so let's say people find you online, they recognize your brand and they like what they see, but how do you actually get them to buy?
Well, Neil talked a lot about removing friction in the purchase process, which sounds obvious,
but is often overlooked.
Big time. He gave some crazy examples like Twitch adding PayPal as a payment option and their revenue jumped 16-18%.
Wait, seriously? Just from adding PayPal?
Yeah. And Neil did the same thing with his own company, Ubersuggest, added PayPal, and bam, 18% revenue increase.
It's like, why make it hard for people to give you their money?
Right. And there's this Stripe report that says businesses that offer buy now, pay later see 14% more revenue every year.
It all comes back to making it super easy to buy. Think about Amazon and that one-click purchase.
That changed everything.
So yeah, streamline that checkout, offer all the payment options, basically no obstacles between the customer and that buy now button.
Absolutely. And now that we've covered some basics, let's go bigger. Let's talk global.
Ooh, going global. This is where it gets really interesting. So Neil pointed out that companies like Apple and Google, huge chunk of their revenue comes from outside their home countries. Like 80% of Apple's revenue is from outside the US.
Mind-blowing, right? And Google, they operate in over 200 cities across 6 continents. They get that the real growth potential is global.
And Neil uses his own company, NP Digital, as an example. Their second largest market is India. And they're seeing huge growth in places like Brazil.
There's a whole world of opportunity out there.
So how do you, actually tap into that global potential, especially if you're not a giant company like Apple or Google?
Well, Neil has some really practical advice. Start by looking at your website traffic. See which countries are already visiting.
So use the data you already have to find potential markets.
Exactly. Then do your research on those countries, their GDP, what language they speak, their cultural quirks, understand if it's even a good fit for your product or service.
It's more than just translating your website.
Right, you got to make sure your message resonates. And don't forget the technical stuff, like using those Earthlang tags to tell Google which version of your site to show people from different countries.
Okay, getting a little technical for me, but I get the point. Think global, do your research, and make your content accessible and relevant to a global audience.
You got it. Think of it like this. The world is your oyster, marketing-wise. But even with the best global strategy, you can't do it all alone.
True. Which brings us to my favorite part of Neil's video, building a killer team. And he had some pretty out there advice on finding the best people.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. He says, look for people who have a track record of success, but not just any success. Success with your competitors.
Right, hire from the competition. Isn't that kind of risky?
Hear him out. He's saying those people have already proven they can win in your industry. They get it, they understand the challenges, and they've already helped companies like yours grow.
So tap into their expertise and get a head start.
Exactly. He even specifically says to look for people who have worked for 2 or more of your competitors and have gotten promoted consistently.
So it's not just job hopping, it's proving they can perform and grow within that specific competitive landscape.
Exactly. He gives this great example, Mike Alexson, the SEO at NP Digital.
Oh yeah, Mike's awesome.
Right. Well, before joining NP Digital, he worked at 3 competing ad agencies, iCrossing, Cavario, and iProspect. And he was a key part of their growth and them getting acquired.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive resume.
Right. And Neil's point is, hiring people like that can help you get where you want to be faster because they already have the knowledge and experience.
Like they've already gone through the trial and error so you can learn from them and hit the ground running.
You got it. But even with the best team, you got to be able to adapt, move quickly. Marketing changes so fast.
Yeah, that's where speed and adaptability come in, right?
Yeah.
Neil's a big believer in that. Remember that story he told about that campaign he was running that was costing him thousands of dollars?
Oh, yeah. The one he canceled within 24 hours, even though it was a Saturday.
Yeah. And then he immediately launched a new campaign. That's decisive.
And it worked. He was able to tweak the new campaign and bring down his cost per lead.
He basically said, don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Even if you've put a ton of work into something, if it's not working, let it go.
It's better to cut your losses and move on than to keep throwing good money after bad.
So be data-driven. Constantly test, analyze, and be willing to pivot if the numbers aren't there.
Exactly. But even with all the best data and strategies, we're going to make mistakes, right? And Neil's super open about that.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I've messed up a lot, and here's what I learned.
He even talked about how early in his career, he was all about shortcuts to make a quick buck.
I think we've all been there.
Right. But in the end, those shortcuts didn't work out, and he learned that building a lasting business takes time and hard work.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
So true. And he's big on learning from those mistakes, keeping track of them even. Like, actually write them down, figure out what went wrong, and then come up with ways to avoid doing it again.
Turn those failures into data points to inform your next move.
You got it. And finally, Neil stresses something that's important in any field, but especially marketing: humility.
Leave your ego at the door.
Exactly. He argues that ego can stop you from learning and growing. Thinking you know everything closes you off to new ideas.
And in marketing, that's deadly because it's constantly evolving.
Right. Neil's all about staying curious, being open to learning from anyone, and embracing new approaches and technology.
That's good advice for anyone, really, but especially for those of us who've been doing marketing for a while.
It's easy to think we've got it all figured out. But the truth is, there's always something new to learn. And that's what makes marketing so exciting.
Well said. So we've covered a lot here, from the death of single platform marketing to the importance of speed and adaptability. We've talked about brand building, going global, and putting together a great team. Whew, it's a lot.
It is. We were talking about how important it is to be humble and open to new ideas, especially in marketing.
It's so true. The moment you think you've got it all figured out, that's when you stop learning.
Yeah.
And in marketing, if you're not growing, you're falling behind.
Absolutely. And speaking of falling behind, Neil had some really interesting thoughts about how fast things are changing, especially with AI and automation.
Oh yeah, this is where it gets futuristic.
Yeah.
He basically said that if you're not using AI in your marketing, you're already behind the curve.
And he's right. Think about all the tools we're already using that are powered by AI. Chatbots, personalized recommendations, even content generation. It's already here.
And it's only going to get more advanced.
Right.
Imagine AI writing your ad copy, optimizing your website, even running your entire social media strategy.
It sounds crazy, but it might not be that far off. Neil really believes that AI is going to be a must-have for marketers in the next few years.
So what does that mean for someone just starting out in marketing? Do they need to become a data scientist or something?
Not necessarily. There are tons of AI tools out there that are designed for marketers, even if you don't have a technical background. The key is to just start experimenting, get comfortable with the technology.
So don't be intimidated by AI, embrace it.
Yeah.
It's like having a super smart assistant to help you with all the tedious stuff so you can focus on the big picture.
Exactly. And speaking of the big picture, Neil also talked about building a strong personal brand, especially for entrepreneurs and small business owners.
That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, how do you stand out online when everyone's trying to do the same thing? How do you create a personal brand that really connects with people?
Well, Neil's advice is to be authentic, be consistent, and be valuable. People can spot a fake a mile away, so don't try to be someone you're not.
It's about showing your real personality, letting people connect with you on a human level.
Right. And consistency is key. It's not enough to post on social media once in a while. You need to show up regularly, deliver valuable content that your audience actually wants.
So it's not just about self-promotion, it's about building relationships and providing value to your audience.
Exactly. And building a strong personal brand takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's about showing up consistently, building trust, and delivering on your promises.
Be patient, be consistent, be the best version of yourself online.
You got it. And once you have that strong personal brand, you can use it to grow your business, attract clients, even land your dream job.
Okay, so we've talked about AI, personal branding. What else does Neil see for the future of marketing?
Well, he's also really excited about short-form video. He thinks platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels are going to keep growing and dominate social media.
That makes sense. People's attention spans are getting shorter, and everyone wants that quick, easy-to-digest content.
Exactly. And short-form video is perfect for that. It's attention-grabbing, entertaining, easy to watch on the go.
So if you're not already creating short-form video, you're missing out.
Definitely. Neil suggests experimenting with different types of videos like behind-the-scenes stuff, product demos, quick tips, even funny skits. See what works for your audience.
It's about being creative and having fun.
Right. And remember, keep it short, engaging, and visually appealing.
High-quality visuals, good music, and snappy editing.
Yep. But even with great video content, you still need to make sure people see it. You need a good distribution strategy.
Right. Content is king, but distribution is queen. And Neil had some thoughts about how content distribution is going to change in the future.
He thinks we need to move away from relying only on organic reach on social media.
Which is getting tougher and tougher.
For sure. Those algorithms are always changing, making it harder to get your content seen without paying for ads.
So, what's the solution?
Neil thinks we need to focus on building our own audiences through things like email lists, communities, and even paid memberships.
So don't put all your eggs in the social media basket.
Exactly. Diversify your distribution channels, build a direct connection with your audience.
So instead of relying on Facebook or Instagram to show your content, you build your own platform and control the distribution.
Right. And that gives you way more control over your reach and engagement.
Plus, you can build a much stronger relationship with your audience because you're talking to them directly.
Exactly. Neil thinks this shift towards owning your audience is crucial for success in the future.
So start building that email list, create a community, explore those paid membership options. Got it. But even with the best distribution, you still need content people actually want to see. And Neil had some thoughts about how content marketing is changing.
He's saying we need to stop creating content just for the sake of creating content.
You mean like churning out blog posts and social media updates just to fill up space?
Exactly. He wants us to be more strategic, more intentional with the content we create.
How do we do that?
Neil says focus on creating content that solves a specific problem for your audience.
Don't just create content, create solutions.
Exactly. And he stresses the importance of really understanding your audience's pain points. create content that speaks directly to those problems.
So do your research, understand your audience, create content that provides real value.
You got it. And don't be afraid to use different formats to deliver that content. Blog posts, videos, infographics, podcasts. Keep things interesting.
It's about finding the right format for your audience and your message.
Exactly. And the key to content marketing success is to be consistent, patient, and valuable.
Show up regularly, provide real value, and don't expect overnight success.
You got it. But even with the best content and distribution, you still need to know if it's working. You need a way to measure results.
And that's where data analytics comes in.
Exactly. Neil had some interesting predictions about how data analytics is going to change in the future.
He basically said that we need to move beyond vanity metrics like likes and followers.
Right. Focus on metrics that actually matter, metrics that tie directly to your business goals.
So things like website traffic, leads generated, sales conversions.
Exactly. And use tools like Google Analytics and other marketing automation platforms to track those metrics and see a return on investment.
Don't just create content and hope for the best. Track your results. Make data-driven decisions.
Exactly. Neil thinks data analytics is going to get even more advanced, giving us even deeper insights into our audience and our marketing efforts.
But buckle up, marketers. The future of marketing is data-driven, AI-powered, and hyper-personalized.
It's an exciting time to be in marketing, but it's also a time of rapid change and disruption.
Which means we need to be adaptable, innovative, and always learning and growing.
Exactly. Neil's insights are a great roadmap for navigating this constantly evolving landscape.
Wow, we really covered a ton of ground in this deep dive into Neil Patel's predictions for the future of marketing.
I know, right? So much insight packed into one video.
It's like a masterclass in modern marketing.
And it's not just theory. He's giving real-world examples, advice you can actually use.
Totally. He's walking the walk.
Exactly. And I think that's why his insights are so valuable. He's not just some talking head. He's out there, actually doing it.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up, what really stood out to you? What's that one big takeaway you're going to keep in mind?
I think for me, it's the whole thing about building a strong personal brand. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and what Neil said just really hit home.
Yeah, I get that. For me, I think it's that reminder to embrace AI. Don't be scared of it.
It's easy to get lost in the tech stuff.
Right. But it's just a tool to help us be better marketers.
And it goes hand in hand with what he said about data analytics. It's not about those vanity metrics. It's the numbers that really matter. AI can help with that, but we have to ask the right questions and actually understand what the data means.
So true.
Yeah.
Data's useless if you don't know what to do with it.
Right. And I think that's really the big picture here. The future of marketing is about being smarter, more strategic, and more data-driven.
Not just throwing stuff out there and hoping something sticks.
Right. It's about being intentional, knowing what you want to achieve, and having a plan to get there.
And being adaptable. Things change so fast. Got to be ready to pivot.
Yeah. And always keep learning. Because this landscape, it never stops changing.
So to all our fellow marketing enthusiasts out there, keep your eyes on the prize, stay curious, and never stop learning.
The future of marketing is in your hands. Go make it happen.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of the future of marketing. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Joshi Vibe Hub channel for even more amazing content.
Keep experimenting, keep innovating, and until next time, happy marketing.